Let's take a look at what we need to do to build an event to monitor our downtime. First, we're going to start by taking an examination of our state tag that we've already brought into filler 1. When we look at the state tag and the raw data associated with it, what we'll see with a little bit of extra time is that we operate between a series of states. Enough time and we can see that we have a 0 state. This represents our idle. We have a 10 state, which represents our prep time. And then when we're running, we are at a 20 state. Now, throughout a 20 state, we will have individual periods that represent our unscheduled downtime, and these can be shown as an integer of a 21, a 22, or a 23. As we come out of that run state, then we move into a CIP state, also represented as a 30. So we're going to take our state tag and simply create a calculated tag. And we're going to call this our downtime. Using the retrieval section of this calculated tag, we'll do a modifier here to say that if the value is greater than 20, and less than 30. If that's the case, then we're going to return a 1, which signifies that we're down, and otherwise we'll return a 0. All right, so in moments where we were down, we now are returning a 1, otherwise we're returning our 0. I can go ahead now and close this, and then I will use this downtime indicator tag to show me, rather than trying to handle all of those rules inside of my event, I will use the downtime as my trigger. Now, if you wanted to double check your work on this, it'd be easy enough to do. I'll just pop out my state tag, and then I can also bring this downtime tag in down below. And as we can see, every time that there was a downtime event, I've correlated that with a 1 value down below. Okay, I'm going to bring the event over. We'll call this filler 1 downtime. To set up a trigger, all I need to do is bring the tag over, and I'll do it a second time to create my end trigger. So when this is equal to 1 is our start, and when it's equal to 0, that will be our end. If I'd like to create an attribute, we'll call this our cause. I can also then bring that state tag in, and it will record for me the state that we are in during the event. So I will get my fault code of a 21, a 22, or a 23. Now in my toolbox, I could create an enumeration. I've already done so for filler product. If we take a look at that, we'll see that what I've done is matched an integer of a 1 value to the product apple, 2 to grape, and so on. We'll do the exact same thing for downtime. If I had this information already in another table, I could just do a lookup. In this case, you noticed I selected static. So let's go ahead and map this. Give ourselves 3 placeholders. If it's 21, we can say that we were starved of material. If it is 22, perhaps it's jammed, and if it's 23, we'll just record that as eStop. All right, so my attribute is downtime cause. I'm linking it to the state tag, and now from my enumeration, I will select my downtime reasons. I'll set this back to the 1st of September. And we'll go ahead and backfill. So the backfill process triggers Flow's data engine to go ahead and look back into the historical record, look for any time that my downtime calculated tag has indicated a value of 1 since September 1st. It'll then take that as the start. It'll record the start time and then the end time and the duration inside of the Flow database. It'll also then add metadata labeled DT cause and do a lookup and match it to our enumeration chart and give me the downtime reason. So we can go ahead and see if that is completed by doing a refresh, and we indeed can see that just since the 19th, since 3 a.m., we've had several downtime events, and each time we have the attribute value of the reasoning of why that was. So with this done, now I can begin to do some more things with my downtime. So one of the simplest things I can do with a downtime event or with any event is to take the event itself and bring it over and put it onto a measure. In this case, I'll do daily measure. I won't name it just yet because I want to go over with you some of the different options of what we can do, and then we'll pick the appropriate name for our measure. All right, so if we look down in retrieval, we're going to see that I have the source now linked to filler 1 downtime. And if I look under my event aggregation, I'm able to look at all kinds of different aggregates across my downtime events. So I can take the period, in this case a day, a production day, 6 a.m. to 6 a.m., and I can do a count of how many starts of a downtime event did we have, or how many times did we end a downtime event inside of that period. I can look at the active count in this day. How many times have we had an active or an inactive count of downtime? I can look at my event durations, both based on the start and the end. I can look at my duration between starts, my duration between ends, my duration between events. So this would be nice if I wanted to sum all of my downtime for the day. I could look at the total duration of my active state. So how many, I would look at the duration of when I was active in downtime, and then I am going to return that. So this is a duration, which means it's going to return in milliseconds. If I would like to convert that to seconds, I need to do 1 divided by 1,000. If I'd like to return that in minutes, I need to do 1 divided by 60,000. Now it so happens that I've done this enough to know that 1 divided by 60,000 is 0.000016666, repeating, so we round up to 7. And then of all of the events that we have during the day, do I want to sum them? That's going to give me my total. Do I want to average them to understand what my average downtime was for the day, or the max or the min? All of these are available to me. So I'm going to go ahead and treat this as my filler 1 downtime, and we'll do this daily total. The only thing left is for me to format. I will choose to include a decimal place in this. And I said we're doing this in minutes. I haven't used minutes yet, so now I have it coded in there. All right, backfill. Again, I'm going to backfill only to the 1st of September. And we'll give the engine a second to go ahead and calculate that. Now, while that's happening and while that's backfilling and calculating, I am going to go ahead and do a few more as well. So we'll take the downtime, we'll stick with the daily number. And this time we are going to do our daily average. I'm going to go ahead and change my default and make everything backfill to the 1st. That way I don't have to keep doing that. And let's look at one more use case here. We'll do our daily again. and this will give me my duration between events. Again, I'm going to take the average. I'd like to know what was my average amount of time where I was, the amount of time between downtime events across a day on average. And again, we'll do that in minutes. All right. I think I am ready to deploy everything. It looks good to me. All right, so now that that is deployed, let's go ahead and take a look first at our daily total. So with the daily total, I can now see for each day period starting in this record here on the 10th of September, but going the whole way back to the 1st if I continue to expand, I have the total number of minutes that I experienced in downtime the whole way through the end of the day yesterday. So we can see that downtime has been on the rise inside of this segment. Let's take a look and see if the duration has also been gaining. It does look like duration has also climbed since the beginning of the week, or the beginning of the 2-week period. Not a great sign. More downtime and longer duration is probably not what we want. But are we going longer between our downtime events? We are getting shorter between the downtime events. So I'm guessing frequency would be up then. If we took a look, we would probably see more frequency of events, even though the time between them, because the time between them has been going down. And we could do frequency. That's another one of the things that we could do with a count of downtime. So I hope this has been helpful for you to see just some of the ways you could handle downtime using Flow. I do want to note that if you don't have your downtime reasoning coded already, meaning you are able to determine that you were down, but you don't have maybe programmed in the PLC a fault code representing the downtime reason. Flow does have the ability to do manual entry, which means we can build forms using our web tools so that your employees can, or your operators can code the downtime reasons. And you can do that by discipline, and then you can do subcategory, and you can even link it to a piece of equipment. So if you'd like to see more about how we can do manual entry for coding of downtime, please feel free to reach out to us. Or if you'd like to have some more questions answered about downtime, we'd love to help out.